What's good, Pack Nation? We give y'all a little second to get in here, but I wanted to make sure that I did this last segment of our Pack Legend series live. First, because it's one of those positions I'm like, it's not a whole lot of major centers that we've had. It's a lot of the same names. Everyone has their order. Um, and so I figured we could just discuss it. I'll give you all mine and we'll go from there. Uh, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share the channel, get everybody that you know involved with, Packing with Gary so we can have some fan conversation. All right, because it's all about discussion and hearing what you all think about the current state of the pack and then anything else that we cover. All right. Now, I do want to go ahead and shout out David Johnson again. He is always on here early and consistently chiming in. So, David, I appreciate that. And I'm going to get to the comments a little bit later after I run through my list here. Okay. So, let's get into it. Now, my centers, okay. Again, these are the ones that I put on my list. It's going to be a little controversial. I know. There's some staples there that everybody's going to be like, duh, we know that guy's going to be there. Well, I probably got a couple surprises for you, but I'll tell you why. All right. I'm going to start at number 5. BJ Anya's at my 5th spot. Okay. Yes, I got him as a top 5 center, even though he was not an offensive threat at all. He had weight problems, like inconsistency with being able to be at the weight he needed to be to maximize his potential, but he's the all-time leader in blocks. Okay. Throwing everything of all the people we've had come through. He's throwing the most. All right. I mean, we're talking about just a game changer when he was in the game, right? If somebody could have helped him figure out this whole, weight management thing, could have changed a lot. But for me, BJ Anya is up there. Now, I know it's more skilled centers that we've had. It's more talented ones. But his work that he did for us while he was at State, that's where I'm at. After him, going DJ Burns. Okay. My 4th spot, I got DJ Burns. Since we are talking amongst our pack family, I don't need to dive into why DJ Burns. Okay. You all can look here and you already know. I mean, he's recently did a lot for us. He's always going to be welcome back as a pack hero, riding this man back all the way to the Final Four. Right. DJ Burns is one of the best centers we've ever had. You want to find some more and leave his name out? Give me a list. I don't think you can do it. If you can name 5 other dudes above this guy, let me hear it. But it's highly unlikely. Number 3, Todd Fuller. Listen, Todd Fuller, I mean, if you're too young to know, which you shouldn't be, you're watching this channel, he was a problem. Okay, probably our last for real problem that we had that was a high draft pick and everything like that. Consistent problem. I know we had Dennis Smith, but we know how he was sort of up and down. Todd Fuller was that guy, right? I mean, you're looking at it, ACC scoring champion. I mean, he's sitting here averaging 20 and on pretty much 10, right? His senior season. Played big in the big games. Okay. Need to see Carolina, knock him out of here. Doesn't care. Doesn't care what numbers in front of their name. They can get it too. Like Todd Fuller did his thing. This is the one that's going to have you upset. I know. I got Tommy Burleson at number 2. not number one. I don't think I'm probably the only person that's gonna have him at two. But that's where I got him at. I mean, Tony Braxton obviously was getting busy, got a championship, the whole nine. Everything's there for you. Like I could not argue if somebody was like, "Yo, he's number one." I'm gonna be like, "Okay, that's your one. I'm cool with that." But for me, I got him at number two. Okay. I mean, there's a thing here. He's second all time in rebounding. Right. As nice as he still wasn't number one at our center spot. So there's a guy that's better at that's a lot shorter. So, it's something to consider. I'm sure the other guy's team didn't have the GOAT on it either. So let's check it out. At my number one spot, I got Ronnie Shavit. Like, I'm not going to go into a whole lot on this, but let me tell you, my man was grabbing crazy boards. Okay, if we can get somebody to come through to give us a third of that production consistently, it'd be cool. 35 boards in a game. I mean, what we doing? 35? What? It was like my man was out there by himself. Everybody just ran away from the ball as soon as it came off the rim. That's a lot of work. All right. All-time leader for us. I got to give him his props. Okay. Man shot pretty daggone good from the free throw line. Also, wanted to shout out Top Foley. He was pretty good from there as well. We talking about, tournament MVPs, consensus All-American. Ronnie Shapley. That's my one. Okay. So just to recap with y'all so we can really get into it and see who, you have on your list. This is my list here. Ronnie, Burleson, Todd, DJ Burns, and Anya at the 5. Now, I'm going to go over here to what David said. David has his list. He's got Tommy number 1. Cool. He's got Washburn, had a whole lot of, issues in school. 2, most talented center in history for him. Shavlik at the 3, Todd 4, DJ Burns 5. And his honorable mentions are Shackelford, who I have in another ranking, and then it's Cozell McQueen, which he corrects later. And then also he's mentioning J.J. Hickson from a talent perspective, because J.J.'s one and done. So, record books wise, he's not going to do a lot. But, yeah. And, David, honestly, I have no issues with your list at all. Like, it's, Washburn I could have put in there, but I left him out. And like I said, Shackelford I've put in another ranking. So I'm cool with this list. Definitely all right with it. But yeah, guys, for me, it's like, I had 4. The 4 that I have here are my strong 4, the top 4. The 5th one, it was just so many guys that were just all the same for me. So I really wasn't pressed about who was in the 5th spot. Really, I could have changed that 5th spot to honorable mentions and just listed like 5 or 6 guys. Right. But the 4 are the main 4 for us. And it's very clear. If we have a decent center, our record's normally pretty good. We definitely got to get back to having one of those. Like, we can't have all of these guards like we continue to have, and our interior just be boo-boo. Like, people can say what they want to about, BJ Anya or whatever, but he made it to a Sweet 16, right? Yeah, he was on a decent team, but you need some type of interior presence, whether that's going to be defensively or that's going to be, offensively. You need something. If you need a guy with the back to the basket like Burns, cool. Or, you get more offensive-minded people like our other guys on here, um, Todd, Tommy, like if you can get a guy who can do a little bit of everything, great. But we gotta have one. We can't just keep having these bubblegum centers that you just trying to hold it together. And that's what we're doing. And our teams just keep struggling when we have that. So yeah, in our series right now, just to sum it up for you, you just hold on. 9 4 feet. What's up, man? So he says, I just knew Musa was on this list. No chance. No chance at all. He didn't even make my power forward list. But yes, I do love him for his 1 year rental that we had. But when you run through the list, we've got a team where our top five at each position, our number one would have been Corciani at the point. We'd have Rodney Monroe running the 2. At the 3, we have David Thompson. The 4, and I'm talking about for my list. The 4, you're gonna have Tom Gugliotta, and then I'd have Shavlik at the 5. I'm cool putting Tommy at the 5 also. Either one of those. Right now, that'd be the starting 5. Now look back at it, I might switch the 4 up a little bit. Really no change to the point or the small forward. And a lot of Pack fans are like, oh, you got Julius Hodge at the wrong position. It's like, okay, well, put Hodge where you want to. I don't think he starts in our all-time starting 5. TJ Warren does not start in our all-time starting 5. Right? Like, everybody's like, oh, Kenny Carr should be. Hey, you're right. Cool. Either way, as much as I've heard people talk about where I placed TJ, not necessarily TJ Warren, but excuse me, nose attention, where I placed Julius Hodge. If I had not put him where I put him at, it still wouldn't. He's not going to be number 1 in any position that we put him in. As much as I love Hodge, because that's my guy, it's not going to make it. At the 2, we could, I think it's pretty clear at the 2, and the point is pretty clear. So our first 3 spots are pretty much locked up. And then we can talk a little bit at the power forward. I think that's the only real position that we're like, okay, everybody may have their one that they want to put at the top spot. And then the center is probably going to be Tommy Burleson for the majority of people. I just went with Shavlik. So see, Clyde, you always come in here cutting up. I'm gonna give you a little bit of shine here. So I'm gonna put this comment on here, but let's see. You're asking me, Clyde Gaddis says, who is David Thompson? Clyde, David Thompson is the best ACC player of all time, but you knew that already. "94 feet of UNC ask, if it was a team of 15 players in state history, did Dennis Smith Jr. go on that team?" Yeah, he made the team. I mean, it'd be crazy not to put him on there. You put him on the team, but he does not start. If we taking our all-time players, and of course you taking, them when they're peak and playing and everything like that. Dennis Smith is such an anomaly because he could give you the craziest game where it's like he looked unstoppable and a man amongst boys as a freshman. And then he could do some dumb stuff and disappear. He was very up and down his freshman year, like a lot of freshmen can be. Okay. So with that and not considering, potential and just off what he was, he'd make the 15, but I wouldn't have him in the top 8 or 9. He might be out of rotation. He might not get in the game if those 15 players had to play a game for me. David has an all-state team. Burleson, Kenny Carr, David Thompson, Monroe, and Sidney Lowe. Okay. I'm all right with that. I'm not a huge fan of Sidney Lowe's game, um, and matching him with, So what I like to think about is like if you're looking to build an all-state team and you need these guys to be able to work together, there's certain players that it probably doesn't make much sense to have on the court at the same time. Like a scoring point guard, and then you got like Rodney. This we need to get him to rock. Also, you got David Thompson. Then we're gonna have a power forward that puts it up. Like we're gonna need to have some roles here. So, that's something for us to think about. Like we were picking out a team and putting people in certain roles and trying to build the best efficient all-time NC State lineup, who would make it? Because most of our top players that we consider were offensive, right? If you put all these guys on one team, it's not going to work. So we'd have to figure that out. Clyde Gaddis says, only 20 years old. I hear you, and I want to give you that as an excuse. But even then, Clyde, I believe you're a Georgia Tech fan, if that's right. Which means you've been a fan of the ACC for a little bit. That's probably a name you've seen on some commercials if you watch ACC Network or any of that stuff. So I'm not gonna give you a pass on that. You should have seen that name at some point. 30 for 30 or something. Excuse me, guys. All right, David. So David says on the bench, Bailey, Wittenberg, Corciani, Warren, Johnson, and Googs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So you got Thurl Bailey, Derek Wittenberg, Corch. Okay, David. So that's interesting. I ain't got a problem with Thurl Bailey. Wittenberg, Corciani, Warren. So you don't have and Googs. Let me look at your starting five again because I feel like yeah, that's interesting. You don't have Hodge on your team at all, and you're gonna have Markel Johnson. I can't get with that. Can't get with that. Yeah, David, I can't get with that. So look, reconsider that for me. If you want to stick with that, cool. But I can't get with that. All right, 94 feet says, what about TJ Warren? Oh, TJ Warren is in the mix. Absolutely. I mean, he's probably for me a sixth, seventh man in the rotation of our all-time state. Like he's up there, even after just doing 2 years, hands down. Like I have him very high on my small forward ranking. So definitely with TJ Warren. See, I'm pretty much caught up. Yeah, Clyde, I figured that Georgia Tech. And David says Markel is a winner. Hodge top 15 in my book. Mark David. Are you messing with me tonight, David? I feel like you're not being serious. Markel is a winner. Hodge top 15. You're gonna put 14 other NC State players in front of Julius Hodge. That's wild. That's so if we doing a red and white game, Hodge coming off the bench on either team, like that's that's a lot. I'm sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't think that. That is very very interesting, and it'd be yeah. There's no way Markel Johnson would be over Julius Hodge for me. There's no one since Julius other than maybe TJ Warren is the only player that I can think of that I would rank potentially on Julius Hodge level or above for NC State. Okay. Um, and I'm talking since him. There's been guys before Julius Hodge, but as since we've had him, yeah, TJ Warren probably gonna be the only guy that I'm gonna put over him. So you're saying David Johnson saying like Hodge, but he was an overachiever. So how is that hurting his case in this scenario? Is your lineup the most talented NC State players, not the best? Because I mean, with Hodge, we're talking about a 6'6", 6'7" guard for the most part. They can do whatever he want and will his team to a W. So that is, yeah, that's interesting. You and I, we completely disagree on that, but all right. And Clyde is in here, cutting up right here, talking about who is Dennis Smith Jr. and he's supposed to be a younger guy. So I'm not entertaining that, Clyde. You're gonna have to use Google if you're not sure who that is. And you're probably gonna be like, wow, y'all had him. Believe me, he had some highlights, but we paid for it. And then David also says, I'll take Hawkeye Whitney over him. Okay. All right, David. So if it wasn't clear before, I can tell you're a more seasoned NC State fan that you're going to take Hawkeye Whitney over Julius Hodge. Which, like I said, if there's some guys before, okay, but since him, yeah, there's nah. Like Markel Johnson has to go sit down. Has to go sit down. Like we don't even. You put Markel Johnson over Cat Barber. Yeah, I can't. It's a lot of people that I can't put Johnson over. A lot of them. But yeah, guys, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on here tonight. I just mainly wanted to make sure that we concluded the series, gave you all an opportunity to say who your top 5 is or was, and if you haven't, caught the live, you can leave it in the comments. Let us know. I know you don't agree with all of my people, which is cool. I want to hear where you're coming from. So make sure to, share your 5, share your all-time, because that will be coming soon. And as always, Pack Nation, go Pack.